Hey, welcome to the live. We are going to talk about water and Iguazu Falls, the Brazilian and the Argentinian side, but I'm going to make a case for why you only need to go to the Brazilian side. So, are you ready? We are going to get started right away. Tell me in the comments where you're watching from and ask any questions that you might have. Just put a Q before it so I can find them in the comments. But welcome. Are you ready to go? So that, my friends, is Iguazu Falls from the Brazilian side. It is enormous. You can do a lot of Wikipedia and history on Iguazu Falls and how it works and the volumes and volumes of water that goes through that place from the Parana River and the Iguazu River that meet at these falls. They have a hydroelectric plant upriver to capture some of that energy. But it is an amazing place, not only because of the falls, but they have created such an amazing walkway system. You are so close to the falls, and I'm going to show you some great pictures and share the story with you. But my deal was I am going to make a case for why you only need to go to the Brazilian side of the falls. So are you ready? Here we go. Start here. So basically, you fly from Buenos Aires, and the falls are split between Argentina on one side and Brazil on the other. 80% of the falls are on the Argentinian side, and 20% of the falls are on the Brazilian side. So, what I'm suggesting is you fly into Iguazu, which is in Argentina. You fly from Buenos Aires to Argentina, Iguazu, Argentina. And I actually bought a fully packaged tour, 2 days and one night in Iguazu through a Viator tour guide. And I can tell you about that later, but I'm going to tell you how I think the better way to do this now that I've done it. So you fly into the airport and you can get a tour guide. I'm actually going to be arranging a trip to South America in 2020, late 24 or 25. So I'll tell you all the details later. And you can go from the airport or your hotel, depending on what your arrangements are, directly to the Brazil side. So you enter as of April 10th. US citizens and others may need a visa to get into Brazil. They keep delaying this. So all you had to do is go through passport control, and they stamped your passport so that you were in Brazil. And you do need a tour guide to enter the park. Oh, no, I'm sorry, that's a lie. On the Brazilian side, you can drive in or you can get in. You're going to have to get from the airport anyway. So the idea is that you get through the Brazilian side. I had a wonderful guide the first day in Brazil, and he immediately starts, well, there are a number of things that you can do in addition to the falls. So here's where we went. I did a helicopter ride over the Iguazu Falls to start the tour. Now, it is only offered on the Brazilian side. They are no longer doing helicopter rides on the Argentinian side. If there is a helicopter ride in a place that I'm going, or a hot air balloon and reasonably priced, this was $160 US for a 15-minute flight over Iguazu Falls. And I wanted to get the scope of Iguazu from above. How many of you have been to Victoria Falls or Niagara Falls? Put that in the comments, because it is a seventh wonder of the world, a UNESCO Heritage Site. They're enormous. So this is as we're flying in over the helicopter. This is, I'm going to say that's the Parana River, but I could be wrong. And you can just get the idea of the scope here. This is Devil's Throat right here, and you're going to get a better picture of it, so stay tuned. And this is so I'm looking at Brazil over here, Argentina over here. Okay, so that's how we're flying. And that's the Devil's Throat, where these rivers collide and fall over these falls. It's just, and all this mist, the pictures are going to get better, I promise. Again, another picture from the helicopter. He kind of swings around. He has to stay on the Brazilian side. I don't know how they do that, but he has to swing around and come back to the Brazilian side. And this is us coming back, and look, I'm looking backwards over at the falls. And then this is just a picture of the falls from the Brazilian side. So once you finish with the helicopter, then you can enter the park from the Brazilian side. All of my tickets and things were all taken care of. I had a great guide. And this walkway, it's a 1.4 kilometer walk along the Brazilian side. And so from this side, from the Brazilian side, those are all on the Argentinian side. 80% of this is on the Argentinian side. And so you get this phenomenal view of the falls just across the river, and it's not very far. And it was a gorgeous day, as you see. And you're just walking along, and on the right is the falls and the river. And it is amazing how close you can get, and you hear the roar of the falls and the noise that they make. And literally the walkway, it's a completely nice path. There are some steps. So if you have accessibility issues, you know, they have ramps in some of the places, and they make it as accessible as possible. But you're really like standing next to the falls, to be honest with you. It is really, really amazing. And that's sort of a still of the photograph, again, looking over onto the Argentinian side of the falls. This is the walkway. So you have a long walkway that when your guide walks with you and parks the car, the Belmond, if you're familiar with Belmond Tours, they own Orient Express. They have a beautiful train that goes from Cusco to Puno and Lake Titicaca, as well as this Belmond Hotel. So he kind of parks the car there, and you start walking this 1.4 kilometers, wide open, breezes coming through. Remember, it's summer in South America now, and no one was there. Like, I might have met 12 people. We were there probably around, by the time we got there, probably around 11:30 or 12:30. Beautiful walk. And then you get to this point where they have built this walkway out into the middle of the falls. So this is the Devil's Throat here. All of this is the Argentinian side. And then we went to the place where I thought I put those in there. The place where the Parana River and the Iguazú River meet. You have Uruguay, Brazil, and Argentina meeting at this place. And it's a beautiful bridge, and it's just a great photo op. And then that night, I stayed at a hotel, beautiful resort, had this hammock and a enclosed porch and a beautiful hotel room, really comfortable, air conditioning worked. It was really beautiful. And beautiful pool. So you jump in the pool at the end of a long, hot day. And in case you've never seen papaya growing, that's papaya growing. So there you go. The next day, pick you up, and you're going into the Parque Nacional on the Argentinian side of the falls. Larger, so many people there, even at 8 o'clock in the morning. But you're entering the falls there. So this is the walk. So this is, let me see if I can make this bigger for you guys. So this is the upper falls, and this is the lower falls. On the tour, we did both. So you're now on the Argentinian side. All of this was what we saw from the Brazil side. I'm going to tell you something, folks. It was a lot of walking. I think every tour. So there were not a lot of Americans. Their high season here in Iguazú is during the North American summer. So June till August or September is when it's really busy. But this time of year is the South American summer. So lots of South Americans go to Iguazú, just like we would go to Yellowstone or anywhere in the United States. And the trails were packed. And it's 90 degrees and 90% humidity. And there's a lot of walking going on here, okay? And it's a lot of slow walking because you have children and you have elderly people. Any hopes of like getting through that quicker are dashed, and you just sweat it out and just keep on walking. I feel personally the better views were from the Brazilian side, because you did get views here without question, and you did get close, and I'll show you some pictures. But I think the pictures from the Brazilian side were much more powerful. The walk was just beautiful. And this was a lot of walking where you weren't anywhere near the falls. Okay, so the falls are here, and you've got to go all through here to get to this lookout. Then you have to go through all through here to get to this lookout. Then you have to walk all through here to get to this lookout. 4 hours of walking. And it was hot and humid. So all I was thinking about is the day before and how fabulous that was. So my suggestion to you, and I'll give you that in a minute. So again, the walkways are right over the falls. So this is on the Argentinian side, you see, and you can see the mist coming up from Devil's Throat. And this is one of the many falls where the water just comes, the rivers just come and fall over the falls. Life, there is great, large amounts of wildlife there. This is their version of a raccoon, and the butterflies were out all over the place. And one of the tour guides, they just landed right on her wrist. So lots of things to see while you're in there. So quick history, and then you can go to Wikipedia. Way back 1800s, a gentleman, and I'm sorry, I forgot his name. A gentleman took the land. It was sort of like the California gold rush. People were just given land and to take care of it. And he built this hotel, 1800s, and owned all of the land that we were walking on. So all of this, including the falls, belonged to this one guy, right? Private land, private land. This is the first hotel in Iguazú Falls, and he was making money on it, and people were coming to visit and do lots of stuff out there. And then a president who used to be the director of parks and lands and, you know, sort of took care of all the natural habitat, said, no, this has to be open to everybody, and you can't have this land anymore. So the government has taken Iguazú back. This was a while ago, 1950s, I think, maybe. Don't quote me on that, you guys. And that is what it is now. So now it's a public park. You pay an entry fee to get in. They maintain it. In fact, there was some flooding, and so we weren't able to go out to the walkway that looks over Devil's Throat because it had been washed away, among other things, because flooding happens. So this is, again, another view of the falls from the Argentinian side, and the roar is just insane. So the other thing, on either the Brazilian side or on the Argentinian side, and I did the Argentinian side, is you can do this boat ride into the falls. So the next pictures are all about the view from the water. You get soaking wet. So they put you're all wearing life jackets, and they give you a waterproof bag, you know, big plastic yellow bag, and you put all of your stuff in it, your shoes in it, your camera. They tell you when to put your camera in, anything you don't want to get wet, and you wrap it up. You know, you kind of fold the thing down and clip it together, and it keeps all of your stuff wet except whatever you're wearing. So that's part of this. And the really good part, not the only, the really good part about this is you are hot and stinking wet. And so now you get bathed by these falls. So these pictures are from the water. We are literally like right here, and the falls obviously are right there. So this, you've seen it from above. And so now this is from below. Oh, okay. I thought that there were some more falls there. I want to give you some other video. And this is the Argentinian side. And then this is their boat picture. This is from the Brazil side, watching the boat. So we were here, and they drive you right into the falls here and then turn around and get out. And there are white rapids from their place where they are landed, and you get on the ship, on the boat, and then you come down the river. And that's where we are. We drive you right into that fall. Like, this is just wonderful. We put our cameras away, last pictures, make sure everything's locked up, and then drive you right into that. It was wonderful because you were so hot and disgusting. My deal is that, let me remove that. There we go. My deal is that I think the best way to do Iguazú Falls is you're in Buenos Aires, and you can catch many planes that go from Buenos Aires into the Argentinian airport. The deal there is you're already in Argentina. So by flying into the Argentinian airport, you're not on an international flight. That's number one. Number two, the tours can start right from the airport. They can pick you up there, however you decide to do it. I did the tour because my head was done in, and I just could not figure out getting there. What if I didn't find a guide? Who could I find a guide? So I bought this Viator package, which was fine. But I just, as we went through it, I was sort of like, okay, Brazil. And so the Brazil side was just so much easier. There weren't a lot of people on it. That walkway out into the falls, you got sprayed with water. You can either take the helicopter ride or a boat ride from the Brazil side. So you don't have to go to Argentina if you don't want to the Argentine side at all. And lots of tours and taxis pick you up at the airport. And where do you want to go? So you can buy tours when you arrive. I just wasn't that comfortable. I wanted to know that I had a tour. I wanted to know where I was going, and I did want to stay and do it in 2 days. Lots of people go out there and back on the same day. If you have any questions, please throw them into the comments and I'll answer them at the end, but I just want to give you a sense of this. So for me, the Brazil side was much more enjoyable. The helicopter ride was insane and absolutely worth every 15 minutes of it. Well run, great operation. We got through the Brazil checkpoint and passport control relatively quickly, and you got a stamp in your passport. You'll need a visa after April 10th as a US citizen and possibly a Canadian citizen. Check with your own State Department on that. And it was just so much easier. And the Argentinian side was just so full of tourists that not only you hot and wet and sweaty, but you're there with like hundreds of other people that are the same. They do have photographers on the Argentinian side that set up on a tall ladder and set you up in the perfect photograph, like around the falls for 8,000 pesos. You can get your picture back at the end of the trip. I just thought the Brazil side was so much more enjoyable. And I didn't need to walk or get closer to the falls because I thought I got amazing photographs. I have over 400 photographs, guys, and I had to limit this because I did not want to keep you up all night. But I can post them to my blog and you guys can take a look at it. So my deal is you get into Buenos Aires, you catch the plane to Argentina, or you can decide just go to the Brazilian airline side. You can take either airport, up to you. And find a tour. I'm going to be bringing some folks to South America, including Galapagos and Iguazú, as I said, end of 24, beginning of 25. So if you're interested in that, please let me know and I'll put you on the list as information becomes available. So I just wanted to say for Iguazú, yes, it's beautiful. Do the Brazil side. And the other thing that could be interesting, I haven't looked into the prices of the Belmond, but I think next time, because the Belmond is literally in the park. Like you can just walk across the street from the hotel into the Brazilian walkway to go out to the falls. So, I mean, if it was $400 for the night or $700 for the night at the Belmond, I would totally fly in, stay at the Belmond, and they have somebody standing there going Belmond. So they pick you up from the airport and take you directly to the hotel. And then you can enjoy the hotel and you can literally walk across the street and go in. Would take a walk on the Brazilian side, and that would be your splurge. Because typically I don't spend that much for a hotel. But if I wanted to go back, it's probably what I might do. Let me see. You can get a boat ride on both sides. So that was sort of my Iguazú overview that I wanted to give to you. It is a phenomenal place. I've been to Niagara Falls. I have not been to Victoria Falls. I am told that they are beautiful. This is the biggest. This is the biggest falls in the world. And they're doing a lot of conservation. There are many animals in there. They're making sure that you are careful walking along and staying on the paths. They're great lookouts. I mean, they have formed things like out over the river and viewing the falls that are just phenomenal. I didn't think we would actually get that close, that it would be that accessible. And I've gone to Niagara Falls and Maid of the Mist. Yes, I get it, but you're still quite a distance from the falls. So it's really, if you're thinking of coming to South America, or just to Buenos Aires, I would suggest you do this because it is, I don't know if it's once in a lifetime. I would like to come back, to be honest with you. But it's an amazing, amazing place. So I'm going to go into the comments now and kind of look for your questions and things. I appreciate you guys coming. I don't know what happened. I set up this live in one time zone. I think I was in Buenos Aires when I set it up, and now I'm in Santiago, Chile. Some of you may know I went to Machu Picchu, which will be next Sunday's live. 2:25. And in the comments, what time on a Sunday in your time zone? Say put your time, your preferred time in your time zone. Put it in the comments, and then I'll post a live for next Sunday on Machu Picchu. And at Machu Picchu, I got altitude, didn't not altitude sickness. My oxygen levels went below 80 to like 75, and my heart was going about 105 minutes. So I wasn't feeling so well on that Monday. We were climbing to 11,000 feet, and my body did not like that. And I stepped off the bus wrong and tore a ligament in my leg. So I am on bed rest and a straight leg cast for the next 2 weeks. I had already booked this lovely apartment in Santiago. So I am resting up. So hopefully I can get to Antarctica on March 3rd. So put in comments on Sunday, what's your preferred time for another live? And I'll be talking about the trip to Machu Picchu and all those details. And if you need to leave or you're interested, I would check out my video from Puerto Vallarta and how I lived there for free for 7 months. So let me take a look at, I want to welcome everybody who's here live with me. Thank you, thank you, thank you for being here. We got Teresa from Houston and Lisa. So good to see you. Lisa and I were in Chicago together last summer, the summer before last. And so glad to see all you guys. Oh my gosh, we got South Australia. Tanya's here. And Western Australia. It's a good time of day there, over there. Minnesota. Okay, so Lisa's asking, have you done the experience where you go to the edge and they hold your feet, or they don't do that here. They don't do that here. The volume of water, Lisa, coming through these falls, they give us numbers that are just so mind-boggling. And you know how you need analogy? So it was like something like 70,000 cubic meters a minute. I don't even know what that is. It's just a lot of water, and you can hear it. You can hear the roar of it. It's just insane. But they don't do any bungee jumping over here. Helicopter and boat. Those are your two options. No barrels over the falls either. Oh my gosh. Mary Catherine, the helicopter ride. Honestly, I just think the helicopter ride and the walk on the Brazilian side, and you will feel amazing. You won't be tired and hot and sweaty. There's also a phenomenal, really wonderful buffet at the end of the Brazil side. So you're kind of walking from the Belmont Hotel down 1.4 kilometers, very easy, very nice. And you end up at sort of their visitor center, and there's a huge buffet, really well done. And they've got a really good system with it. And there's a little gift shop and stuff like that. And so after you've been out there, so we probably got there at noon. I finished by about 2:30, and we had some lunch, and it was wonderful. And then he drove me to the three corners, Uruguay, Argentina, and Brazil, where the Parana and the Iguazú River meet. So it was a really nice day. And I really felt I had sort of done it. So when we went to the Argentinians, I'm like, okay, I'm ready to walk and get some exercise. Oh my God, it was slog. It was a slog. But that helicopter ride, phenomenal, really amazing. And if you're going as a solo, I missed this. Another guy was solo. He jumped in the front seat. I was just making sure I got a window. I completely ignored the front seat. So front seat of the helicopter. Let's see, Teresa. Yeah. Oh, totally. Yeah. I mean, some people have gone for 3 or 4 days. 2 days is enough. I mean, you do one side on one day and one side on the other day with an overnight in between. So I think it's plenty of time. I mean, the Argentinian side is, in this time of year, is hot. And the deal is, if you come in our summer, in the North American summer, it's winter. So it's green because there's a lot of water, but a lot of South America is brown because the water, the weather has changed. It's gotten cooler. And so everything isn't as lush. But walking through the Argentinian side, you completely feel that you are in a rainforest. So that humidity is there, the misting coming off of the water. We may have actually had some little raindrops. You can't tell between the rainforest and whether it was rain. So it's hot. So you come during the winter, it's going to be cooler, but it's not going to be as lush, I think. Hello, Kathy. Okay. So you guys are putting in some times on Sunday. So between 5 and 8 Eastern. That's great. I got to write this down because once we get out of here. Oh my gosh. Well, tell us, Christian. I think it's Christian, right? tell us what, Caroline, tell us in comments. So where have you been? What have you liked best about South America? So I came here on December 1st. I'll be leaving here on March 18th. Um, Costa Rica, Ecuador, Peru, Chile, and Argentina and Brazil. So I've kind of covered, and then some middle of the country, Antarctica. It's a wonderful, wonderful, wacky, weird place. It's really, yeah, there's a lot to see here. Okay, so are there any other questions? 2 days was enough. Anybody else have a preference on time? Did you need to stay 3 nights or 2 days? I honestly, Tanya, found the 2 nights, 2 days and 1 night enough. Could you break up the Argentinian side into 2 and do the upper walk one day and the lower walk another day? Yes, you could. I don't think it was worth the money for another hotel night. I just wanted to do it. I just didn't anticipate. I'm a big walker, so this ligament tear is kind of bothering me. But I didn't expect that we'd be walking or really slogging through the Argentinian side. And we were there early. But the families that are on vacation now here, I mean, there are tons of families, which is great. It's just like our Yellowstone. I just hadn't anticipated that when I decided to go, but it was too close. I was in Buenos Aires, so why not? Let's see. Oh, Debbie, yes. So I got down here on the Princess ship Sapphire from LA all the way to Buenos Aires and then back to San Antonio. And we did Antarctica twice, once on the way down and once on the way back. And so she's doing this trip in January of 25. If you are all interested in that ship, in that cruise on either the Majestic or on the Sapphire or any cruise going down to Antarctica or an expedition, which I am doing on March 3rd, providing the leg is healed, please get in touch because I'd be happy to book it. But as Debbie and others and Kathy, who's a big cruiser as well, this sells out. Like December 1st, it was sold out. The ship was sold out. It's a very popular tour, and the tour of Antarctica was insane. And I did an Antarctica live, so you can watch that. It's on replay. But you're gonna love it, Debbie. It's insane. Oh my. Okay, so Christian, you did everything too. Yeah, we did a little Latin America. It's amazing. It's a beautiful, beautiful place. Northern Cal like to find out how to set up some trips. It depends on how you do it. So I got a really good deal on the cruise on Princess from December 1st. I was on the ship 55 days and I got a really good deal. So I'm a solo traveler, so I always look for price changes, price shifts. Everybody's threatening that the cheapest price you're going to get is when you book early. And then as it gets closer and they may or may not be full, the prices change. This is by far, in my almost 3 years of solo nomading and traveling solo, my most expensive period of time. So I'm here December, January, February, March. So 4 months, including the cruise. So the cruise was probably the cheapest because it gave me all my food, my housekeeping, my gym, all of that stuff was all self-contained. Laundry was taken care of. So I bought G Adventures Galapagos, also a live that you can watch. Machu Picchu, which will be next Sunday, and Antarctica, which I'll do after March 3rd. We get back March 13th. So I bought them all at the same time. So G Adventures gave me a deal. I paid in full at one time, and they gave me a deal on those. But it depends on, budgets. It may be something you save for, maybe you do it in pieces. Because I was here, I decided, screw it, I'm just going to do it all at one time. So I have definitely invested in South America. The accommodations, not so expensive. So this is a small studio in Providencia, Santiago, really safe, kind of fun neighborhood in Chile and Santiago. And it was $500 for 2 weeks. So, it kind of compensates, and now I can make my own food. I don't have to eat out as much. So, and the tours, of course, sometimes cover all your meals or some of your meals, all of the transportation plus tips that you have to give. So, but Miss D, I would be happy to talk with you about what you want to do and how you want to do it and what your budget might look like. And I am a travel agent, if I haven't told you guys that. So if I can help you, Miss D, or anyone else plan or even talk about planning or think about what you want to do, I'm more than happy to help. Um, yep. Hey, Katie. Yes, and G Adventures was great. It was yeah, it was really good. Dolly, welcome. So I only have one person responding 5 to 8 p.m. on Sunday for Machu Picchu, and I'll give you all the scoop on Machu Picchu and how I think you can do Machu Picchu. Even with G Adventures, I think there are a couple tweaks we can do to make it better. So I'm going to share that with you along with all the photographs. So questions, comments, you can reach me on my blog. I've written a couple blog pieces about my trip, so feel free to go over to Where's Babs. The YouTube channel is also over there, and I'll be doing some videos on how to get healthcare. Healthcare is great, and it was very cheap, but it has hampered, to let this ligament tear heal has hampered my walking about a little bit. So I'll give you the scoop on that on my YouTube channel. But I want to thank you all very much for joining me tonight. Don't hesitate to email or contact me via Facebook or on my blog. And I really appreciate you watching. And it's an amazing, there's a reason it's a UNESCO Heritage Site and one of the 7th wonders of the world, because it is breathtaking. That's what I'd call it, breathtaking. So I hope you have a great night, and I really appreciate you tuning in. Oh, yes. Debbie, I paid for helicopter rides that were more expensive. So when they told me that's what it was, I was like, yes, so good. Yeah, it was really good. But thanks so much for coming, you guys. I hope you have a wonderful evening or afternoon wherever you are. And I'll see you soon. Next Sunday, sometime between 5 and 8 Eastern. I'll let you know and look for the post and make sure you subscribe. Oh, and check out that Puerto Vallarta, 7 months of living free in Puerto Vallarta. So that's the other way that I balance the budget. When I started, I didn't pay any rent anywhere, and I'm still not paying rent. So thanks so much, you guys. Have a good night. I'll talk to you soon.